What's the best way to catch crappie in shallow, submerged brush piles when they're suspended over the top of them? Good morning, guys and girls. It's May the 8th. Let's look at our catch of the day for May the 8th. May the 8th. We're going to be in Matthew 25:45. Matthew 25:45. Oh, this is Jesus talking. This is Jesus himself talking to you this morning. I tell you the truth. Anything that you refuse to do, even for the least of my people here, you've refused to do for me. Anything you refuse to do, even for the least of my people here, you refuse to do for me. Ooh, that hits a lot of us in the heart right there. Our devotion said it's a helpless feeling to break down on the water. Sometimes you're miles from where you launched, floating around, looking around, no help in sight. What a relief when you see a boat coming. What a sinking feeling when the driver doesn't see you or pretends not to see you and looks the other way. Looks the other way. Acts like he doesn't even see you. You're up there frantically waving your arms and hollering and screaming. He probably can't hear you because of his engine running, but he looks the other way. He acts like he doesn't see you. Fortunately, most folks will stop and give you a tow. But unfortunately, we do live in a society, we live in a world where we increasingly look the other way. We live in a world where so many of us look the other way when we see someone that needs help. Jesus said that when we do this, we're turning our backs on him. Jesus himself went out of the way to help those who needed help the most, and he expects us to do the exact same thing. When you look at someone in need, you're actually looking into the face of Jesus. As people of Christ, we should be the very first ones in line to help. And I know that when we read a devotional like that, or we read that scripture, it hits home to most all of us, because just about every one of us have turned our backs on somebody when they needed help. Just about all of us have looked the other way. Just about any city that you're in nowadays, you can pull up to just about any red light or turn, and there'll be people out there asking for money, and a lot of us will just kind of look the other way and act like we didn't see them standing there. We'll work for food or need money for help or broke, whatever, and just about everywhere we go and pull into a station to get fuel, there's somebody that's going to walk up to you and tell you some big story about their car breaking down, and their wife is 14 months pregnant, and they're trying to get back to Miami, Florida, or wherever. I've heard every story in the world, and normally I'll just reach in my pocket and give them some money and tell them I don't need to hear the story. It's probably not true anyway, but here's some money. There's another scripture that I don't know if we've talked about yet this year that talks about entertaining angels unaware. And that's one of the things I think about. I wonder if I'm entertaining an angel unaware. So what's $5, And so I think about that. But this is even more pointed, because this is Jesus talking right here, talking about what you refuse to do for someone else, you're refusing to do for the Son of God. And keep in mind, we're not always talking about money. We think about looking at this scripture, we're thinking about money, and we're saying, well, I don't have hardly enough money to get by myself. How can I give money to somebody else? But we're talking about your time and your talents. Sometimes simply just giving someone a smile and a word of encouragement makes all the difference in their life. I guess that's what we all ought to need to do out here today. I'm going turkey hunting, but I guess what we all need to do every day, I guess, is kind of look and see and make sure we're kind of looking for that person that we might need to be able to say an encouraging word to. Or we might be able to buy them a Coke, or buy their cup of coffee, or buy their lunch. Or we might be able to just visit with them a little bit and kind of give them a little encouragement, steer them in the right way. It doesn't always have to be money. Maybe we ought to be looking for that person, because maybe that person doesn't want to ask, doesn't want to beg, but they need help, and we can recognize that. Ask God to help you recognize that. Let's see what our tip is for today. Oh, this is a great one right here. Use a bobber to suspend a roadrunner over submerged brush piles. A bobber, that's right. Little red and white bobbers, little round red and white bobbers. Now you can use slip corks. And by the way, I saw a YouTube video the other day that my buddy Bill Dance done. You know, Bill Dance has a YouTube channel also. I don't know if you're subscribed to it or not. It's a great channel. If you're not subscribed, you need to. My buddy Roland Martin's got a YouTube channel. Hank Parker's got a YouTube channel. So if you're not subscribed to those, you might check them out. Those guys are incredibly great fishermen, incredibly talented at teaching people how to catch fish better. And Bill had a great show there catching crappie using a slip cork. Now, a slip cork is one that it'll slide up your line to a spot, and you got something in it that makes it stop, so you can fish various depths. If you want to fish like 10 foot deep, you set your marker up here at 10 foot and let it slap it up. But what I'm talking about right here, is just the old red and white bobber. That's right, white on the top, red on the bottom, and putting that at a certain depth. Like, let's say you got a brush pile in 5 foot of water, and you want to fish your roadrunner or crappie jig 3 or 4 foot down. Set your bobber at 3 or 4 foot, throw over there, come across the top. Your roadrunner come right across the top of that. Little blade turning back there, come across the top, and you never get hung in the brush pile, and you can catch you a pile of crappie. That was one of my daddy's favorite techniques right there. And I don't know how young I was when he showed me that, but it's a great, great technique for catching crappie. Guys and girls, go out there and have you a great one today. And remember, I sure do love you.